In this video, you'll learn how to quickly remove spots on your image caused by sensor dust using Lightroom's spot removal tools. And I'll also show you how to apply the same settings to multiple images. With digital SLRs, dust often finds its way onto the sensor. When these dust spots appear in the area of continuous tone, such as in the blue sky, as shown here, they can be quite annoying. So let's use Lightroom's developed module spot removal tools and get rid of them. So I can select the spot removal tool over here in the tool strip by selecting the icon, or I can hit the Q key, which I'm going to do right now. So over here under the spot removal tool, you'll see the various controls. We see brush, and we have a choice between a clone and a heal brush. And for this kind of work, I almost always use the heal brush, which is going to give me a more natural looking removal of these spots. We can also change the size of the brush here and the opacity with these two sliders. I'm going to bring my cursor over into the image preview area, and I'm going to hold down the space bar because I want to look and see if there's some more spots by clicking and dragging, and yes, there are more there. I can also now with Lightroom 5 select the A key, and you can see down here visualize spots in the toolbar is selected, and this gives me a really quick way to actually visualize the spots in my image, and I can change the contrast here and bring out more areas. Now obviously not everything here is a spot, but it gives you a real good starting point. So I'm going to select A again and remove that. Okay, so how do I get rid of these spots? There's a couple ways. Probably the easiest way is just place your cursor over the spot right in the middle. I'm using my mouse wheel to change the size of the brush, and you can see over to the right the size slider is moving while I change the mouse wheel. And once I get it just a little bit larger than the spot, like I've done there, I just click. And you can see Lightroom automatically finds a source to heal that spot. Let me go ahead and I'm going to remove that spot by selecting the delete key, because I want to show you another way to do this. This is new in Lightroom 5. If you hold down the Option or Alt, Command or Control keys at the same time, you get this crosshair appears, and you can place that right in the middle of the spot and click and drag, and you can see how the circle then expands out. And once I release, Lightroom automatically heals that spot. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and do the same thing to this spot. I'm just going to click on it, and you can see how Lightroom has removed it. And let's find another one. There's probably other spots, but I'm just going to stay with these spots for now. So there's a couple things you can do once these spots are in place. I'm going to bring my cursor right over a spot here, and I'm going to right click. And you can see this brings up a contextual menu, and I can switch between clone and heal and toggle back and forth if I want to, but I'm going to keep that at heal. If I'm not happy with the source that's healing this spot, I can also have Lightroom come up with a new source. I can either select that here or just use the backslash, and you can see now Lightroom has found another source automatically. Now I can also move the source around manually by just placing my cursor over it, clicking and dragging. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you can see now it's now manually moved to find another source. I'm going to caution you about doing this. Most of the time, by the way, Lightroom does a really good job of finding a source on its own, like it just did there. If you manually move it around like that, that locks the source in place. Now that may be fine with this particular image that you're working on, but a lot of the power of Lightroom is its ability to work on many images after having only worked on one. You can apply these same settings to multiple images. Now, if you move that spot around manually, Lightroom will not do as good of a job when you try to apply that these spot removal tools to another image. I'm going to demonstrate this. It's not that complicated, but it does take some explanation. So I have some other images that were all shot within around the same time frame, and I'm going to select these down in the film strip, and all I need to do is select them here. Now all of them are selected, and I want to apply the same settings from this image to those other images. It's very simple in Lightroom. All I have to do is hit sync because they're all selected, and I'll select sync. And when the options come up for synchronizing settings, I'll just make sure that only spot removal is selected. And I'll select synchronize. And now you'll see, I'll go to this image here, and then I'm going to select this image and this image. And you can see the spot has been removed in all of these three images. And the reason being is that if the spot is on the sensor, it's logical that it's going to be in the same place from image to image. Okay, so I promised I would show you what happens if you manually move a source around. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to select this spot, and now I'm going to drag this source around. I'll just take it down to here. Okay, so now it's fixed in place. So when I hit synchronize, which I'll do now, and synchronize the spot removal tool, and I'm going to go over to the next image, back over here. Okay, now see what happens? The source for that spot is locked in place. It's over here to the left, as opposed to the other spots where they are now relative. So Lightroom will then analyze each image individually and place the source in a different place than, let's say, the first image. It won't do that if you've manually moved the spot around. It just fixes it in location, and it may not be the most appropriate place for your source. Just a heads up. Some other nice tips to keep in mind when you're using the spot removal tool. If you get annoyed by seeing all these spots all over the place, if you hit the H key, you can hide them. They're still doing their job, as you can see, but the H key will remove them. So one last thing, if you want to remove all the spots, it's very simple. All you have to do is come over here and hit reset, and now you can see all the spots have been removed. So it's always best, of course, to have a clean sensor, but as you can see, if one of those pesky pieces of dust appear on your sensor and in your image, it's really easy to get rid of it in Lightroom's Develop module using the spot removal tools.